Hi, it's Jen. How are you? If anyone's joining, give me a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from. Today I'm going to share with you some exercises to help keep our joints nice and loose. It is becoming more and more evident to me that I need to stay on top of my well-being, both physically and mentally. And obviously we have quilting as a hobby that does support us from a mental and psychological perspective. It does provide those endorphins, the dopamine, those happy chemicals, and it's definitely a stress reliever for many of us to have this hobby to fall back to. But we also need to remember to take care of ourselves physically as well. And so in the last year and a half, I'm noticing changes in my body, but more specifically in my hands. And some of you I've told before, I had trigger finger release surgery right before we were quarantined. I probably have signs of a carpal tunnel, but I really try to be mindful and ergonomically correct when I'm working on the computer, when I'm sewing. And I also know I have arthritis. So it's just something that I'm going to be stuck with, and I am going to fight all along the way, trying to keep myself flexible and able to do the things that I really love. So just a couple of fun exercises. Well, fun, maybe that's not the best descriptive word, but easy enough exercises that if you can get in a habit of doing on a regular basis, they're going to help you, again, physically and mentally, because it's going to allow you to do more quilting and the things that you love. So anyway, without further ado, I am going to share with you. I have 9 exercises. I also want to just highlight that I am not a physician. I am not a physical therapist. So if you are in pain, 1, you shouldn't be doing these exercises if they hurt you. 2, make sure you go see a doctor, and perhaps there's something else going on. So these are all assuming you guys are in general good health, that you're not experiencing a lot of pain. You might feel sore, both while you're doing them or after, but you should never feel like you're in pain. If you are going to join in with me, that's the one unfortunate thing of a Facebook Live, is I can't see you doing the exercises, but you can join in with me now as well, or you can watch it again on replay. One thing that you'll need is either a towel, like a hand towel from your bathroom. You can grab it, or grab one from your kitchen, or better yet, assuming you are all in your sewing rooms, you can grab yourself a fat quarter and open it and fold it the long way, or a half yard, or even a yard will work. So I'm almost certain all of you have this. We're going to use this for the last exercise. Feel free, as I'm going through these, to go ahead and make any questions or comments. But the first one that we're going to do is called Spiders Doing a Push-Up on a Mirror. Okay, so again, no one's watching you. You could be in your pajamas, you could be fully dressed. You can either be in a standing or seated position for all of these exercises. So if you're at your sewing table, go ahead, stay seated and join along with me. Why don't you? The first is called Spiders Doing Push-Up on a Mirror. So if you just, let's pray a moment, actually just bring our hands together in a prayer position. And basically you're going to spread your fingers as far apart as you can. And now you're going to push up on the tips of your fingertips, starting with your thumb and your pinky. And then you push, and you see how my hands are coming apart here. Imagine it's a spider doing a push-up on a mirror, just like this here. So you're going to do this repeat, keeping your fingers together, doing the pulsing or push-up motion. You want to do that for a couple of minutes. Okay, and so you should really be feeling this stretch in each of your digits, each of your fingers, as it creates some tension. And when you pulse up, there's tension. When you come back down, there's a release of that tension. And so not only does this help stretch those tendons and the muscles and ligaments in your hands. Over time as well, it can increase some strength. But the main purpose for today, we're not going to be bodybuilders. The main purpose is to add some flexibility to our joints. So any of you who have had hand surgeries probably have already done a series of exercises similar to these. For those of you joining, again, just reiterating, I'm not a physical therapist or a physician. These are just some exercises I wanted to share with you. If you are in pain at all, please don't do these, and you want to consult someone about the best step for you. Okay, so again, exercise number 1 is a spider doing a push-up in a mirror, hands together. You can stay with your hands upright, and you stretch your fingertips out and then push, and you just sort of pulse back and forth. It appears to be a spider doing a push-up on a mirror. It sees its reflection right there. Okay, so that's the first exercise. The next one is called the full arm stretch. So basically what you're going to do this one, and again, you could be seated or standing. I'm standing right now. Is you're going to stretch one arm out in front of you, like so. And just so you know, okay, I grew up with the nickname knuckle draggers, okay? I have very long arms, probably proportionately longer than I should, so I don't know if I'll get the entire arm here on the screen. But the idea here is keep your elbow straight, extend your wrist out, okay? And then have your fingers face the floor. So come down like this. Okay, elbow straight, wrist bent with the fingers facing towards the floor. Spread your fingers slightly, as much as you can. And then you're going to use the other hand to apply gentle pressure to the downward facing hand. Okay, so you're just going to kind of add, and you're going to feel that here all along your wrist and the base of your hand, pulsing down into your fingertips, okay? And so you want to stretch your wrist and your fingers as far as you possibly can, okay? Because this is like a resist technique that's going to provide that tension and some stress relief. And you're going to hold this for about 20 seconds. Okay, this one is called the full arm stretch. So our arm is fully elongated, elbow straight, wrist is bent down, fingers spread, and you're using your other hand to pull it down. So then you're going to switch. And Vonda, for the shoulder, this you're also going to feel a little bit of that tension here in the shoulder, and that's okay. So I'll switch to the other hand again, arms stretched out, elbow straight, wrist bent, fingers down and spread, using the other hand to pull down, primarily feeling it here in your forearm and your wrist, the base of your hand. Okay? So you would switch and repeat doing that a couple of times for each hands. Now, the next exercise is actually quite hysterical when you're doing this in a larger group. And I had thought about putting some music on in the background, but unfortunately what I've noticed when I put these recordings up in the group afterward, any copyrighted song, Facebook shuts it down and shuts down my video. So, if you would all please at home, to the tune of the chicken dance. Okay, you're going to put your arms open. Let me stand back a little if you can see me. You're going to place your hands with the back of your hand on the inside of your armpit like so. You wriggle your wrists up there into your armpit, but the back side of your hand facing your body. So the palms are facing away. Fingers are pointing down. Okay, so you've got your arms up. Straighten your back. Okay, you want to have a nice straight back for this one. Lift your chest, and you're going to feel that stretch right now in the back of your hands, okay? So you should be feeling the stretch happening here in the back of your hands. And you're going to flap your wings, okay? So this one's called the chicken dance. So if you can imagine, I'm not a very good song singer, so I will spare you that, but hopefully you've got the chicken dance song going in your head. And again, this one is really fun to do in a group together, so you're not there by yourself looking silly, flapping in front of everybody, not knowing if they're doing it with you. So thank you for entertaining me on that one. So that one is called the chicken dance, and In addition to doing some stretching in the shoulder area, when you lift your elbows like you're flying, you're again putting the stretch or the pressure here on the back side of your hands. Let's see if there's any other questions. Again, feel free at any time to ask some questions. If you're sitting there giggling at me, I'm expecting you to be getting a fat quarter, a half yard, or a dish towel so you can join in with us on these exercises from the comfort of your house. The next exercise is called single wrist pulls, okay? So you're going to reach one arm in front of you, keeping your hand parallel to the ground. So if you remember for the other straight arm exercise, we bent the wrist down. In this case, you're going to keep it up, and you're going to have your palm facing forward and flex your wrist back, okay? So it's coming back towards you like this. Spread your fingers wide and then gently pull on your thumb. Oh my goodness, this one feels so good for me. I don't know if it feels good for you, but this one, for whatever reason, I guess I'm a very type A personality. I hold my pens and my needles very, very tight. So this just feels delicious. So I'm feeling it, for me, primarily in the palm of my hand, along these tendons here that connect to my fingers, and I am feeling it on the back side of my wrist. So again, extend your hand parallel, then palm facing up. Using your other hand, rotate on the fingers and hold them each for a few seconds. That just feels wonderful. In fact, I want to do this side to make sure I'm even. That's another important thing. Always make time to do both sides, both hands, both arms, so that your body remains balanced. Hands stretched out, wrist tilted up. Ooh, that feels good. So I'm going to take a couple of seconds on each of these fingers. This isn't actually an exercise in the list that I'm showing you, but also a nice add-on to that one is I like to just come in and roll through the joints here as an additional stretch. It's really nice. And Vonda says, this stretch is great if you're on your computer all day. Yes, so that's a great point. So obviously, we're all quilters. We spend time at our machine, our heads down, shoulders hunched over when we're hand stitching. But clearly, you have the same ergonomical poor posture when we are on our computers or our devices. So that was exercise number 4. Now, number 5, if you recall, we just put our wrists in the upward position like this. Now we're going to do the downward position. So again, arm extended out, bend one wrist downward, so your fingers are pointing to the ground in this case, and then use your other hand to gently apply pressure here. Okay, again, this is going to pull along your forearm. And I really noticed this when I'm working on my computer a lot and my hands are upstretched, and if I'm not in the correct position, it creates a lot of tension here in my forearms. So this is a wonderful exercise to, again, release some of the tension and the stress that you begin to feel on this part of your forearm. That was exercise number 5, the downward stretch. And let's see, where are we with this? Number 6, the fist bend. Okay, so get ready to do a little clenching of your fists. You're going to extend both of your arms straight in front of you and straighten both of your wrists. Okay, and then relax your fingers like so. Now, with both wrists bent downwards, you're going to make a tight fist with both hands. Okay, so as tight of a fist as you can make. Really clench them. And you're going to hold for 5 seconds and then release and let the fingers dangle. Okay, so this one, this downward motion, I'm feeling it at the top of the base of my hand and my wrists. By clenching, I am creating tension here in the palm of my hand and in my finger muscles and joints. And that hold, it's almost like you're forcing your body parts into kind of a mini spasm in a way that when you release, when you let go, you should feel kind of the tension sort of oozing off, dropping off your fingers. That's also another one that feels really good for me. Again, I think I have that tendency to really grab my needle tight. I grab my pen very tight as well. So you're going to do that several times as you wish. And I would also recommend you guys start out slow. So start with just a couple of repetitions of each of these exercises and see how you feel the next day. Because I would expect you may create some soreness, which is completely normal. Again, you should not be in pain. And if you are, then we need to see someone in the medical field for that. But as long as you're just sore, you can do this every day, every other day, and gradually increase the number of repetitions that you do. Number 7, in this particular exercise, it's helpful to have a solid wall. So behind me, I have the magic curtain. I don't have a solid wall, but I'm going to demonstrate what this one would look like. Basically, you're going to stretch out one arm, keeping your elbow straight and the palm facing upward. Okay, so you want your palm facing upward. You want to move your head away from your hand and lean your ear to the opposite shoulder, okay? Like this. You can also, so it's kind of hard, let's see if if I could turn the camera, maybe it would be easier to show you. So basically, you got your outstretched arm, your head's facing this way. And Vonna, this is again another really good one here that really helps with some of that tension that gets built up in the neck for all of you who are doing work on the machine, whether it be piecing or quilting. Even for those of us who are sitting hunched over looking at our devices, this really helps release some of the tension here in our neck. You can augment this exercise. You can make it more difficult by placing your hand on a wall. So not only are you creating some relief here in your neck and shoulder area, but also you're going to really be stretching your forearm because the wall will act as a resist to keep your hand down, perhaps a little bit more than you might without having the wall there as a resist. So you want to hold that for 30 seconds. And you would start out doing that 3 times for each arm, okay? So pushing away from the wall is what this one's called. Outstretching your arm with your palm up, okay? While you're doing that, you're bending your wrist downward with your neck or head tilted to the opposite direction. Opposite direction. It's also really nice if you put on some calming music, soothing music while you're doing it. It becomes a little meditative as well. That's an option. So here's a little fun one that I like to use here in the studio, but also in the house. It's called the puppet hand. Okay, so you're going to stretch one of your arms out in front of you. You're going to make a fist, and you're going to hold that for 5 seconds. Okay, then you're going to flatten your palm and hold for 5 seconds. Okay, so it's 5 seconds, 5 seconds, and then we're going to hold it in for another 5 seconds called the puppet, right? So you see how we have the puppet here? It's just sort of the C shape. Imagine doing shadow puppets on the wall. If you're really bored, you can talk to yourself. A lot of times I'll tell my kids, zip it, right? So it's a really good exercise, again, for the inside the palm of your hand. You're going to feel some more stretching along your thumb base, which, again, for those of you who might have some arthritis starting like me, I'm experiencing it right here in the base of my thumb. So I really enjoy this one, and when my kids get me mad, I just tell them, shh, shh, zip it. So you can be practicing this when you do your exercises, and you're using it for family management also. So you're basically going to Again, we did stretch with the fist, stretch flat, our C-shaped puppet, hold for 5 seconds. And then lastly for this one, you're going to reach out holding your palms facing upward for 5 seconds. So you're going to feel also when we rotate to these different positions, you're going to feel some rotation up the arm into your shoulder as well. So that was exercise 8. So I have one exercise left that I'm going to share with you ladies today. And I'd love to hear from you how they're feeling. I'd love for you to just check in tomorrow and say if you're sore or you're not. The next one is called the rib stretch. And this is the one that you would need something like a dish towel, a fat quarter, a half yard, a yard, which I know you ladies all have. And you're basically going to toss it over one shoulder. Okay, you're going to, the same shoulder where your fabric is lying, you're going to hold with that hand here. And then with your other hand, you're going to put that behind your back and grab it. Okay, so some of you may, if you're not able to reach your hand far up the back side of your back, you may want a longer piece of fabric or towel. And essentially, you will grasp the front of the towel with one hand and the back with the other, and you're going to pull down on the towel, leaning your neck one way. Oh, this feels so good. I didn't realize how tense I was today. And then we're going to turn to the other side. You should feel that in your neck and along the top of your shoulder and your shoulder blades. That one is really yummy. Okay, and then you're going to hold those for 30 seconds and then you would switch to the other side. Okay, so we're going to put the towel or the fabric on this shoulder, holding it with the same hand that the fabric is on the shoulder. Grab in the back, just like so, just like you're drying your back, right? But you're going to pull down. And here's where the magic happens. It's when you tilt your head to the side, hold for 30 seconds, just sort of feeling it melt away. Don't force it. Don't force it at all if it hurts or if you feel like you're overstretching. Sometimes we are so tight, our muscles kind of clamp down on some nerve endings. So if you're feeling any burning sensation, that's normal. However, take it easy. Just perhaps don't quite stretch as hard. You may also want to gently rub the neck area. That's where we feel some of the nerve pinching that happens. So there we have it. Those are just a few exercises that you can use to keep yourself flexible, to keep yourself sewing and enjoying what you do with your hobby. I'd love to hear from you again in the next few days, how they felt, if they work for you. If you have any other suggestions to share for the group, we can certainly add those. And so thanks again for joining again, and I'll see you soon. Bye.